y'all? It's your boy Ancient Albatross here again with the Cypher Unlimited crew -1. Unfortunately, no Anthony tonight. He had a pipe burst at his job on that ship that he works on, and unfortunately, he's the man with the plan who knows how to get that fixed. So he is still at work, sadly. But we have the ever lovely Alphadean as usual. And just as a quick reminder, if you haven't already, be sure to follow us here on Twitch and subscribe to us over on YouTube. And if you're looking on Moonbeam, whenever it goes live for everyone, the public, be sure to go look at us there. But hello to everyone on Moonbeam. If you're watching over there, we are multi-streaming. But without further ado, Dean, what are we doing here tonight?
Well, tonight, as we are back, we've been off the line for a couple of weeks or so, or at least a week. But we're back. We're back to talk. We're going to have a nice chill chat. We're going to do a recap of PAX and talk about all the wonderful things that we saw there and how PAX is a little different than most cons that I've ever been to. And I can appreciate it. So we're going to talk about PAX.
I will correct you real fast because you said we. I did not go. It was just Dean. Just our good friend Dean here.
I'm sorry. I said we because my son was there. So I had, I had a partner in crime.
Not me, unfortunately. But let's just dig right in because you already said it was a little bit different, but you had a good time. But let's dive right in. And can you tell me, because it's the only comparison I really have, what is the general atmosphere like at PAX versus something like Gamehole Con? Because I definitely prefer that size of con. Compare the two for me.
Well, first of all, I have to put it in context. MCG has done something which you haven't experienced yet, except for at Gamehole. But now at the major conventions, MCG has a tendency to have their own room, and having their own room changes the dynamic of the convention, no matter which convention it is, whether it's Gen Con, whether it's Gamehole, and PAX is no different. The difference with PAX is, I had a pop-up. The difference with PAX, though, is it seems to be a lot more focused on the actual games themselves. And, you don't really, to me, you don't seem to contend with the hype and the glitz and celebrity and so on and so forth. It's really focused on the games, which is cool,
So when you say that, when you just, I don't mean to cut you off. When you say that it's focused on games, do you mean like there's a lot of demo space and people are mostly there to talk about games more so than like just hanging out and like doing various con activities like wandering the con or seeing panels and stuff? So PaxU more focuses on the demo side of things, or I'll let you.
I think I would say that the demo side of the thing takes a lot of precedent. There was a lot of games being demoed, way more stuff being demoed. Maybe because of the way they have their dealer room set up, it was easier to digest it, to see all the varying demos that are there. But another thing is that they actually have a space like right next to the dealers area, which is nothing but games. Like people are at tables, they're playing board games, they're playing RPGs, they're people, you got their prototypes out there. It's and another huge thing, and this isn't any negative or anything, but it was great to see such a diverse crowd. The number of ethnic people, people that look like us, and I mean, it's just the only way to put it. It was really crazy because normally, we go to a con and, we're truly the minority. I mean, just like any con, we're still a minority, but it was just that there were more concentrated groups, and it was like, it was really cool because you're walking along and you could, speak to people. And, I met some wonderful creators, from multiple backgrounds and ideologies and so on and so forth. Um, it just has a really comfortable, welcoming vibe as a whole. Even though it's big, it's bigger. The uh, Philadelphia Convention Center is massive. It's like ridiculous. It's got like bridges all across. It goes like blocks.
So you mentioned the big size, right? Can you compare the size, because this is another con I've been to Gen Con? Gen Con felt crowded. Like, it was not a super comfortable experience walking around like the dealer's hall or even the gaming areas. There was just a lot of bodies and not a, like, there was obviously no fire hazards or whatever, like you can get by, but was kind of crowded. How was PaxU's crowd compared to that?
Okay, and I'll give you PAX falls right in the middle of Game Hole and Gen Con, where Gen Con feels congested. This felt busy, but not congested. There were times of day that the crowd may have seemed a bit overwhelming, but I think that was just at specific times of day, that it took for them to get whatever it was they wanted to get going at that particular time. So,
I mean, that's encouraging to hear, because as long as it's not like skewing towards the Gen Con side, I think I'll be golden if I go over there.
no, it's crazy. I think you would handle PAX very well. I mean, ideally, I think all three of us have come to the conclusion that Game Hole is our perfect speed, whatever. But PaxU gave the sense of, I won't say necessarily urgency, but there's always something going on. You know what I'm saying? Whereas kind of, you remember like Game Hole, they were just lulls. There were just times that, hey, all I'm doing is sit in the lounge and I'm chilling. That's all I'm doing.
I appreciate those lulls. But as long as PaxU has a place where I can do that, even if there's stuff going on constantly, then that sounds like a good experience, honestly.
And that's literally what I was getting to, is that, PAX does have just that. They have it has its own little mystique. Like I said, and because MCG has their own room, and the way they had the room set up, you could always just go in the room, chill out, talk to the MCG crew, laid back. Of course, none of the big four were there. It was, just the Tammy and Charles and Stephanie and Jen. But still, it was like, truth be told, Al, I was pleasantly surprised that it really worked the way it went, the way it went down.
I mean, I like the MCG crew is cool and all that. I think I mentioned this before. I don't think it was the last time I was talking with Anthony. A lot of buddies of mine from New York City go to PaxU, and like the MCG crew is nice to see and all that. But I want to see my New York City friends. Like, I don't ever get to see those guys, and yeah, that's actually one of my biggest draws to going to PaxU, is a lot of those guys go. And yeah, and MCG there being is a plus. It's a bonus. And yeah, then now that we talked about MCG, I've heard that PaxU is like a really big board game convention as a whole. There's mostly board games. What did you see there in terms of TTRPG representation? I know a lot of TTRPG people go, but like, is there like, is it like a side thing, or is like, or do they take up just as much space as the board game people? Like, what's that like?
Honestly, I believe it was just as much. It was very much, I mean, because there were a lot of things that make crossovers too, that are crossover between board game and tabletop, RPGs. So it was really a wonderful mix. There were a lot of people there, like, for example, I don't know if anybody are familiar, but Loot Studios was there. They do a lot of STL files. They have a subscription plan where you can join a subscription, you get STLs every month. It's like $15 a month, but they and you get these options. And I mean their STLs, their 3D prints are phenomenal. Well, they were there. They had a whole room. I mean, not a whole room, a whole little setup. And not only were they showcasing what they do, but they were offering basically an RPG in a box. A scenario in a box, miniatures, with standees, and then of course, if you bought the box, then you get the STL files free to print on your own. But they were full on scenarios, so miniature skirmish, but with that added twist of RPG capabilities, and they do that, even on their website they do that. But for them to showcase this at PAX was like really cool. Um, and like I said, you met. I got to see a lot of independent game makers, but I also got to see some of the bigger names. Like what is it?
I know Stockholm Cartel was there.
Yeah, Stockholm Cartel was there. Onyx Path was there. I got to meet the guys that did Household and Outgunned. They were there. And we'll get into Household in a minute. That's something I really would like to talk about. I think that's a brilliant game.
I will say, or I guess a quick follow-up question since I mentioned them, and I know this is something they do at cons. Did you do the corpse run that Stockholm Cartel kind of host? Do you know what that is?
Yeah, I did. I didn't get to do it, but I wanted to. But again, because I went there, with MCG, I'm always like, I never sign up to run anything. I'm always the fill-in guy. So I was filling in for a lot of games. I think I ran about 20 hours of games, over the course of the weekend, which was cool.
You did say there was a pretty decent TTRPG presence there, right? Who had the biggest presence? Which company? You of your opinion, I guess, because I guess it is an opinion based. Like who? And I guess when I say presence, it's not just the company's presence there, but who did you see people maybe over here talking about, or see people carrying their books? Like what seemed to be the popular company, quote unquote, this time around, if you could say.
It's hard to say that anyone was more popular than the other, because it seemed like everywhere that they had a booth, like the Onyx Path Publishing. Those are the guys that do Trinity and Aberrant. Those guys, their table was always, their booth was always deluged with people, and they were showcasing a new game. I forgot what they call it, but the basic premise is that you are a member of a monster clan. So you could be a vampire or a werewolf or a ghost or whatever, but they have all these different paths, and it's like coming from the opposite side. But they had a lot of and I noticed that with just about everybody. The Alligator Alley was there. Rich Lescafure, they were there. I didn't get to talk to Rich. Every time I went to see him, he was gone. But yeah, Rich was there. Like I said, it was really a cool experience as a whole. Like I said, I had never been to PAX. I never really even had a desire to go to PAX. But after going, I'm like, okay, this can be I might have to add this to my game schedule, my con schedule for next year.
How long was the drive over there for you? You drove, right?
Yeah. Normally it's only about a 6-hour drive, which is nothing. But weather conditions and everything else, it was bad weather in between. It was fine where I live at. It was bad weather in between me and Philly. It was good. Weather was good in Philly. So that added, it took me like 8 hours to get there, but
that's still not too bad for driving.
No, it's just really not bad at all. It was a good drive. I get in the car, and anytime I get in the car and I can drive, especially there's nobody with me, well, it's books and podcasts.
Now that you mentioned that, I'm just gonna have this real quick question before I jump into my next like con-based thing. Did you listen to Station 151? Have you listened to it?
All the way there.
Oh my god, the season 2 is so good. Oh my god. I don't want to spoil it for anybody. Holy shit, if you haven't listened to Station 151, go listen to it. They're on, I think, episode either 11 or 12 of season 2. Next Tuesday is the last episode of the season, I believe. Maybe there's 2 more, I forget. But either way, it's bananas. It's so good. Barrett, you're amazing. And I forgive me, I'm blanking on the name of the other 2 guys, the brothers. You guys are amazing. This shit it slaps. It's so good.
Yeah, it really does.
Did you listen to today's episode?
No, today I haven't listened to today's episode.
Because I listen to it every drive, like in the morning with Leo. I drive him to work and we listen together. And that's like 6:30 in the morning. We're popping this on. We're probably like one of the first people to listen to it. And at the end of the episode, I was like, no, like literally gasped out loud, like, no way. Yeah, it was crazy. It's crazy.
And it's funny because tomorrow I've got an hour drive.
Pop that shit on.
hour there, an hour back. So I'll be listening to, because I didn't listen to, I got to listen to last week's episode and this week's.
Oh, you're in the shit starting to go down, bro.
Right, that's what I'm saying. I know. Like I said, and that's what I do. I kind of save stuff so for my long rides because I got so I either listen to an audiobook or I listen to a podcast. So yeah, it was good stuff, man.
That shit is good. But next, moving along here, you mentioned earlier that the MCG had their own like room at PaxU, right? And we know of the lounge at Gamehole Con. How similar are they, like size wise, activity wise? Like what are the parallels there?
This room that they had here at PaxU is probably about the same size as the room they use at Gen Con. And because it's a self-contained room, I mean, there's 2 sets of doors, a set of doors to walk in, a set of doors to walk out. They have their booth and everything set up and, where all their product is. And it's really nice because, when people walk in through the main door, the first thing they do is they get greeted by somebody sitting at the table who's basically making sure to see if you are in a game, if there's any openings for any games, so on and so forth. And then you come right around and then there's everything displayed out. But then there's just a plethora of tables, that they have set up, and it really it's just really inviting. We had people walking in, just out of curiosity, because MCG had a nice archway banner thing set up. So, people would see it and they would come in, and the minute they saw either Magnus Archives or Old Gods of Appalachia, those 2 were like massive draws because people were walking around like, what? Magnus Archives? What, you got something, and here they come, so there was a lot of that.
That's awesome. What you call it? Keebs in the chat, and I don't know if you saw it earlier. This person thanked you for running a game and said something about the gulp. But they just said, I really like the dedicated room and store, but kind of missed having MCG on the expo floor too. So I've never actually seen, like, I'm assuming you mean like the merch, like the alley or whatever, like the.
You remember you remember when you went to Gen Con? They had at Gen Con they had.
Oh, that's considered like the expo like area.
Yeah,
okay.
Yeah, that's the expo floor.
Yeah, I mean, personally, I guess it's nice to like. So I'm answering this thing like he's talking to me, but it's nice that people would see that in a place like that. But personally, me going to a con, I want that little like isolated like because I am I guess a very big introvert. We did have 2 other questions from the audience here, and they're great ones, so I want to ask them. Starheart Dragon asked, did you discover anything at PaxU that you're excited to explore more of in the future? And they're talking TTRPGs or podcasts.
Well, actually, PaxU in general, I would love to be able to explore it as a whole more. I spent a lot of time, I dedicated the majority of my weekend to MCG. And again, no complaints. No, I am not complaining in any sense of the word because I had a blast. And it was great encountering people and so on and so forth, walking around with a Cypher Unlimited shirt and people walking up, hey, I know you guys, that was really a cool thing. So I would probably like to be out there more. Um, I haven't had a chance to talk to you about this yet, Al, but um, I am literally getting my quick start together for my game. And my plan is next year basically to run the con circuit before I do my Kickstarter to drum up publicity. And I'm thinking, maybe, you want to print up some of your stuff and we can maybe set us up a table, and just, like hawk our stuff, you know. No, no, we've already, I've already taken care of that part.
I muted myself and forgot. Thank you for that, Jason. I was drinking water and I didn't want it to be heard. What I had said was, as long as MCG can cover a table for us to be at the dealer's room, we're golden. And Dean said it's covered, so that'll be awesome. And what you call it? What I was gonna say was, that I mentioned this a few seasons ago, but my book personally is going a little slow because, I always talk about this. I have very fluctuating energy levels. Book's actually almost done being written. I'm hoping to have it printed before my birthday. But yeah, any cons past that day, I would definitely be on board with, like, getting a little table together or whatever at these cons that MTG goes to. I think that'd be fun actually. I have experience with that stuff too. I used to help my husband Leo when he used to do cons, artist alley stuff. I would sit at the table, talk to customers, whatever, just be look at me. I'm a guy you want to talk to. Like, just look at me. Oh, but yeah, that definitely sounds like a fun plan.
Well, that's what I'm saying. And so basically, for development purposes, and that's what I'm saying. You're almost done. So you could actually, I don't know, what you would do, how you want to get them printed or whatever, but you could just have yours there. I'm just going to be having a quick start and, artwork and all that kind of stuff. But I think it would be awesome. And the thing about it is, PAX showed me a very different snapshot. Whereas when you're at Gen Con, you know, everybody's looking for the big names. They're looking for, Wizards of the Coast and Paizo and, and this big thing is coming and this thing. But at PAX, it was way more intimate, and people were willing to have a conversation. People were willing to, just, I was standing there talking to a creator. It was just kind of funny. We kind of had things in common, um, with his work and what I'm working on, and we were talking about it. We were exchanging, ideas and so on and so forth. Next thing you know, we had like 5 other people walk up and just engage us. Hey, listen, not being rude, but we heard what you were saying. That sounds fucking great. And then you get into this, and I really wish I had like, a promotional piece of artwork or something with me to give to them, So, my goal is now get the website done, get some promotional stuff together and be ready, for con season, coming up in 2025.
That's definitely a good plan. And just to backtrack a little, I think we got kind of sidetracked. What was the answer to, like, what you're most excited to see in the future that you like that you
Yeah, we did get sidetracked. So I'll be honest, like I said, honestly, I would just really want to explore. I'm really excited about exploring PAX as a whole.
Okay, that was the answer. Okay.
I mean, I really am. I mean, I don't think I can't put my finger on any one thing, but I would like to probably try to experience some of the panels they have there. Um, they have an interesting setup. as a whole with the way things are delineated, and then of course they have a digital, you can just take a snapshot of a QR code, and then you have the entire catalog for the weekend, as well. You don't actually have to have a physical book.
I like that. I always lose that shit. Always.
Right. So that's why it's even better to have, that just to have it on your phone. That way you can look at it when necessary.
I'm still laughing outside.
So sweet.
Okay. And then the other audience question was from Jason C. Are y'all good, buddy? And they ask, did you see the holiday parade?
Yes, I saw. Well, actually, not all of it because I got sidetracked getting into the city. So like I said, it took me 8 hours to get in, but I saw part of it, which was what I got to see was cool as hell.
What did you? Well, what is? I don't know what is it.
Basically,
it was a parade, but like,
it's a parade where they showcase different different creators and so on and so forth, and products, and so it's just a massive parade, and it's all about PAX. They got people in costume, and the whole nine.
That sounds
cool.
Mad cool, actually. Now I'm picturing, like, because I don't know anything about it, but I'm picturing Stockholm Cartel with like those Chinese dragons, except as like a skeleton, like because you said they're like showcasing their products, right? Like just stuff like that. I don't know. Again, I don't have no idea what it actually is. That's just the first image that came to mind. That sounds cool. I definitely I gonna try my hardest to make time and room to go next year, because again, not only for MCG, but I have a bunch of friends that go, and it just seems like an overall great time.
And I'll be honest with you, that was a big draw too. I mean, I didn't think about it until you said it, but of course, my son lives in Philly. One of my best friends, he's like another brother to me. He lives in Jersey, which is right across the way. And there's just a bunch of, I got family, in New York City. So yeah, it was pretty cool to see a lot of family and friends as well, people who showed up. And like I said, it was like a Christmas present for me to be able to spend a weekend with my son like that. This honestly is the first time since he's been an adult that we've got to truly, geek out at that level. And it was a blast,
Definitely sounds nice. Definitely. What you call it? Starheart Dragon said, my sister said her favorite moment of PaxU was getting to meet you, Alphadean. I don't know if you know who that is, but their sister met you and loved it.
Wow, I don't know. I don't remember. Like I said, I've met so many people. There were people walking up to me, Alphadean. I'm like, okay. You guys, it's really surreal. It throws me off that people walk up knowing who I am, or wanting to meet me. So tell your Starheart, tell your sister it was great meeting her as well, because everybody I met was awesome. But again, you'd have to tell me, connect the dots, because I was like.
And just, I guess a quick piggyback. I don't know if you're looking at the Twitch chat, but DM Till said, Dean, your son lives in Philly? Question mark?
Yeah, lives in Philly.
And this whole talk is a good segue to my next question here. And you kind of answered it, but I'm looking for more specifics here. Did you meet with anybody from the Cypher Unlimited? Did you introduce anyone? I already see, like, you've met a couple new people. This Keebs person, again, I don't want to say male, female, whatever. They are in the chat, and it seems like they were newish to the community. How did that go?
I met a lot of people who, first of all, had never heard of Cypher System, had never heard of Cypher Unlimited. And they joined Cypher Unlimited after getting up from the table playing games with me. I met people who were members of Cypher Unlimited who just walked up, hey, and I'm like, okay, tell me who we are. Like I said, Dancing Vorcha, me and him had a great conversation at the, we had a great conversation. Because he was running Stealing Stories for the Devil, and I was able to give him a couple of pointers on running that one. But yeah, man, as a whole, it was like pretty cool. Just like I said, our community came out to PaxU. They showed out, they showed up, and they represented. And it was actually awesome to meet a lot of the members, who I had, like I said. And if you tell me we met and tell me who you were or how you introduced yourself, I'll remember. But for me to be able to quantify everything, like I said, Dancing Vorcha, I met him at Gamehole as well. I met him for the first time at Gamehole, so I remembered him, and he had already said he's going to be at PAX. But, and of course, we all know Wes, DM Tales, he was there. We got to laugh and joke. But it was kind of it was, what? It was a whirlwind, but it was relaxing. It wasn't like, oh my God, I feel so, I never had a night where I was like, waiting to get back to my son's house to lay down and go to sleep. I never had, I wasn't exhausted. And it was just it was a good con.
Oh yeah, and you just said that, and that's one of like a huge positive. Your son lives in Philly, so you don't even have to get a hotel. You just go to his apartment or whatever, his house. Like that's baller. That's baller status.
Right. And he lives 10 minutes from downtown.
Even more baller. Like that's amazing.
Exactly. So we just would get up in the morning, and the cool thing I like about PAX 2 is their games start at 10 o'clock in the morning. There is no 8 o'clock game. Well, maybe they are, but MCG started their games at 10.
That's pretty good. That's pretty good.
That right there also made
that's a game changer, because instead of like waking up at like 6 to get ready, you're waking up at like 8 or 9 to get ready. Right. And especially now that you're in Philly, closer to the convention center, take even more time.
And I cannot forget, Zilzaddy was here. Me and Scott had a great conversation. We got to have Scott back on the show, because Scott came up with a great idea, and I think we need to promote it, endorse it, get on the bandwagon and let make this thing happen. It's really cool. I'm not gonna let it out, because
it's not the Magnus Archives thing.
No,
it's something else.
This is something else. It's cool as shit. I really, and if he says I can speak on it, I'll speak on it. But if not, we'll keep it under wraps for now. But it's some good shit. To put it bluntly, it's some good shit.
We'll put it like this then. We'll have him on again. We said this earlier. I guess Anthony said it. We want to have all the Moonbeam streamer people on our show at some point. We'll make it part of when he comes to talk on that interview, we can talk about it.
Right. Exactly.
Yeah. It should be cool. I'm definitely interested in hearing more about
probably it. Is the same thing he was talking to you about. I can almost guarantee it was. It's solid. It's a solid idea, and it's something that I think, something I know hasn't been done, or I haven't seen anything like it. And I could definitely say it could be a thing that could catch on and be something pretty nice for the RPG community in general. Yeah,
these are interesting hints you're giving us here. So it doesn't sound like an actual play. Maybe it sounds like a mode of play. Maybe, I don't know, but I'm definitely intrigued.
Once we get off stream, though, I'll tell you about it. Like I said, when he says it's okay to reveal, then we'll definitely be. I'll be dead. You know me. You know how excited I get when it's something that strikes a chord with me. I'm the first one at the gate. Yay! Shaking, let us in.
So yeah, this has been, PAX sounds amazing, and this is harking back to something Ketup just said. Ketup can't make Gamehole Con next year because he's going to Japan, but he's gonna try maybe to go to PAX. So me personally, if I had to choose between the two, I think right now it'd be PAX, because I haven't gone there before, and I kind of want to experience everything you just talked about. So if for whatever reason next year I can't go to both of them, expect to see me at PAX instead. I will say that.
Well, listen, and I'm gonna tell you like this. I'm gonna say this. I'm gonna throw it out there now. This is December, so literally everybody has a full year. If you can't make anything and you live on the East Coast, definitely try to make PAX. Let's let and throughout the year, let's just have a conversation. Let's keep talking about it. We will do what we have to do, and we can make it a Cypher Unlimited party. Right at PaxU next year, because I think like I said, DM tells he lives there. Again, like I said, we've got people in the area, and I think PAX is just kind of special. I didn't. Like I said, I didn't. I had nothing to compare it to or quantify it by. And I didn't know what I was getting into when Charles asked me if I could make it, and yeah, but I'm like quite happy I did.
I'm laughing about two things. One, Kedub said, Dean, you got to go to PAX again next year. I'm going to make you my ride. Because just for context's sake, Kedub lives in Canada, was like an hour drive away, 30-minute drive away, very close to each other.
We're close. Cool.
And the second thing I was laughing about, DM Tales is like, I live here. So does that mean like you're inviting the CU crew to like come sleep over, like make us avoid the whole time? I'm definitely down for sleepover. I'll definitely take you up on that. I'm just kidding. Don't feel the need to invite us 3 rowdy New Yorkers over.
Yeah, we can get it started if necessary.
Ooh, but again, this has been a great talk. Let's round this out a little.
There's one last thing you forgot.
No, I have another question. I was gonna ask.
Oh, okay.
What were you gonna say? Were you looking at the notes? No, yeah, I was going to lead it to that. Like this is a good bang out question. This is gonna go out with a bang with this question. What is it? So again, we had talked about all the amazingness of PaxU, amazingness of meeting people, hanging out with the MCG crew who went there, playing games, running games, all that stuff. But a con isn't a con without getting that swag. What did you come home with this time around?
Well, you know what? I'm just gonna reach. Just give me a second.
Oh. Hey, Kedub, I do nails. I don't know if you were on stream or saw the pictures. My Merc Borg inspired nails. They're like 3 weeks old at this point, so they're like falling off. But yeah, I'll do people's nails. You could talk about boys characters. I just saw the dot.
All right.
Yeah, so, I really like how they came out. Just another quickie look for anyone who didn't see them.
So I picked up this game called Household. I picked up everything, the deluxe edition. It was a couple of $100, but it's so worth it. First of all, the art in this book is bonkers. It's right up there with MCG art. But the concept behind it is freaking awesome, because in this game, you play the wee folk, the small folk. So this would fit right into like We Are All Mad Here or whatever. But the crazy part about this is that the entire game takes place within a household, because you're wee folk. So, you got the one group of people. I don't know if you ever saw the old movie called The Borrowers, but you might have one group who live, they live in the China cabinet. So they might call that Glastopia. And then you got another group that lives in the kitchen, that's Foodlands or whatever. It's brilliant, but just look at this cover art.
Before I take a gander at that, I'm loving that premise. The tiny little wee folk inside a house, and like a whole region is the China cabinet, or a whole region is like the bathroom.
right. It's
Oh,
so
amazing. Wait, show the cover again. I didn't get a good look. Show the cover again.
Oh.
Lift it up a little higher, a little lower, cover your face. Cover your face. Yeah, it's perfect. That looks mad cool. Yeah, that's mad cool.
Here's even cooler though. Now, like I said, I got to speak with the creators and the artist. Okay. Look what she did in the front of my book.
Oh, that's so cool. Wait, is this? Did you send us a picture of this on Discord? Is this the
Yeah.
game you were talking about?
Yes.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Yes. So, like I said, the different you get to play, fairies and bogarts and sprites and sluga and so on and so forth. It's just it's so rich.
DM Tail said, "Show the slipcase."
Oh yeah, the slipcase.
I'm loving that cover, by the way.
Yeah, and it's 3 books. It was a 3-book set that I got.
It's like that on the other side too. It's still I like that logo, that little, I don't know what you call it.
And then when you open it up,
Oh, now that's a slipcase.
yeah.
Now that's a slipcase.
you see
Holy
what
shit.
You see what I'm saying about the artwork?
Yeah, that's dope. That is good stuff. Holy,
And
wait,
then,
wait. Hold it up to the side. Is it meant to look like a grimoire, like a big book?
Yes.
Pull up a little higher. Yeah, that's mad cool. I love that. I love that.
And then check this out too. Like, they give you because everything is, about the house and the way it would be in the house, right? You get a map, but the back of the map is a candy wrapper.
That's good. That is golden.
Because they were supposed to make the map.
Yeah, it's immersive. That's immersive as fuck. Like, you're just holding a giant candlelight wrapper. Like, oh my god, that's amazing.
And then, well, and here's the other thing. For those of you out there who are 5e people, they just crowdfunded a 5e version. They did a 5e version. I bought the original version because fuck 5e.
Yeah, I was about to say, boo 5e. Just talk about the regular version, like.
But with the 5e version, they also did this.
Oh, wait. Oh, yeah, the STLs, right? The minis?
The minis. And guess what? They're all perfectly to scale. This is how big they would be compared to the real world. Yeah.
Yo, that's so good. That's actually amazing.
It really is. So that was the highlight of my swag. When this, like I said, when I saw it, I just fell in love. And like I said, I talked to the creators. We're gonna have them on the show. We're gonna get them on to talk about it. And this is so easily cipherized. The system that the game itself uses is a D6 system, and it's really just getting multiples of the same thing on your die. Like I got their custom dice.
Ooh, show those bad boys for sure.
I got their custom dice.
I gotta take off the shades to take a look.
And
oh, those are neat. What do the symbols mean something when you roll, or is that just flavor?
Well, if you get multiples of the symbols and you get them in certain orders or certain like that, like it's like getting a royal flush.
He said it's like Yahtzee, or it's Yahtzee.
Yeah, it's like Yahtzee.
Oh, so it. I would have to obviously read the book to see like what Yahtzee combination corresponds to what action or success or whatever. But I'm loving that premise.
Yeah, it's really it's like I said, it's so easy that this is easily cipherized.
I need to check that out.
You could easily cipherize it, but strangely enough, this is one of those that I would probably run using its own system because it just
that sounds fun. Like, again, I don't know anything else outside of that you have to make pairs or like certain combos or whatever. But I haven't seen any other game that does that, and that sounds super fun. But again, asterisk, I have not read many games, period, in my lifetime. So take that with a grain of salt.
And of course, I did get. Of course, I don't go to a con and don't come home with dice. I got the PAX dice, and I got a PAX Scully, and a PAX pullover, the hoodie. Did I buy any other game material?
That was the only game you bought?
Yeah. I mean, I was looking at a lot of stuff. You know what? I was looking at so much stuff, and it was little of this, little of that. And then you have to remember, too, my wife's birthday was this past Saturday, so I couldn't go out there and act a fool, spending a whole lot of money.
That's true.
I had to make sure I was prepared for my wife's birthday. But that right there was for me. That was like the highlight of actually the stuff that I saw out there. I mean, that made the hugest impact. And it's not often that I see a tabletop RPG that just draws me in like that. But it was absolutely it was just great. I mean, like I said, I just happened to be walking by and just saw the artist sketching. And I'm like, "Oh, that's nice," And that's when because she is they're from Italy. They're the same group that do Outgunned. They produce Outgunned. Um, but she was sketching and she's like, "Oh no, you talked to him," and it was her. I think it was her husband. But I talked to Simon, and that's when everything just started unfolding, and it was like, yeah, and if you buy a set today, she's doing, artist sketch. So I got, both of the writers and the artists all, signed the book. So it's pretty cool.
Definitely a good get as far as swag goes.
Yeah, that was big time. And like I said, a set of dice, and I grabbed a few quick starts, because it was nice to meet some other creators. I don't know if anybody's familiar with AMP Year One. They're all over. It's a superhero RPG. I met that creator Eloy, which was really nice to meet him. And he's got a couple of other games. Like he's got one called Part Time Gods, which I love the premise.
I feel like I've heard that name before. I feel like I've heard that title before.
Yeah, you probably have. Basically, think of a more modern take on Gods of the Fall.
Okay.
But yeah, good
I'll
stuff,
definitely
man.
check
It's
that
like I said,
out.
yeah. And I met a hype crew, which I'm going to take advantage of.
You said a hype crew?
Yes. Yes. Basically, what they do is they want to, if you've got something, and they want to get it into the hands of more people. So they have an entire group, and they take people's games and they take your stuff, and they disseminate it amongst their people in order to get it a bigger footprint.
That's neat.
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
Nice.
But yeah.
It sounds like you had a blast at PaxU. You have definitely convinced me to go. I mean, I think I was already leaning towards going, but the fact that it's like in that middle ground between Gen Con and Game Hole, it sounds like, again, there's always something to do, but it's not overly crowded. There is places to catch your breath, to, wind down. MCG has their own spot, like at Game Hole, which is nice. No ice cream stand or whatever, but you take what you get.
Well, here's the other thing though, because it's right downtown, you are not at a loss for anything for food wise. First of all, they've got decent food within the convention center. Some of the food is decent, but literally right downstairs was Hard Rock's Cafe. They have, Philly's cheesesteak shops, and because Jen, who works for MCG, she lives there in Philly too, and she pointed out a couple of spots. This one spot to go get cookies. Oh my God, talk about decadence. That was just, I literally bought half a dozen cookies. I ate 2 and I had to give the rest away because my sugar would have went through the roof and I would have went into diabetic coma, but they were delicious.
DM Tales is correcting you. One minor thing. Philly has no downtown. We've got Center City.
Well, whatever the hell you call that menagerie, okay? Because if I had one negative takeaway, it was when I left, but that was kind of my fault too. I did not pay attention that Philly had a game that day, and I left just as the football game was letting out. So it took me almost an hour to get out of the city. But after I was out of the city, like I said, it was smooth sailing to get home. It was a great ride home. Um, got to listen to, Station 151.
Yeah, I
is
will say this again. If you haven't listened to that, go listen to it right now. It's so good.
it really is.
But
Shit.
yeah, I definitely see myself going to PaxU next year. It's on the later side of the year. That'll give me a lot of time to build up to it to November next year. And again, hopefully I can go to both Gamehole and PAX. But if I have to choose one, it's gonna be PAX. I will say that right now. Because again, it's the way you made it sound. It's like a little more robust than Gamehole. A lot
Yes.
more stuff going on. And then again, the ultra positive for me, my New York City friends go there. So if any of you guys out there watching, I want to see y'all. So I will be trying to go to PaxU next year.
I mean, and that's really the one of the coolest parts is that you really do see, people that you probably wouldn't see at another convention just because of the location, and us New Yorkers and us East Coasters, put it that way. We're a little different, but yeah, it was definitely worth my energy, worth my time. I'm not disappointed one little bit that I did it. Matter of fact, I'm pretty damn happy I did it.
Nice.
So
Before we get out of here, do you have any last words about PaxU that you haven't mentioned, that I haven't asked about? Any parting words?
only thing I would say, in addition, that I probably have said already, if you haven't had the opportunity to do a convention, and you're not afraid of, something that's got a little bit of size on it, PaxU is a place to stop because, like I said, MCG's presence there is awesome, but the nature of the convention itself is very inviting. Though it's bigger, though it's a little hustle and bustle, it's a very inviting environment. So, and Zach Zach writes the insane. Um, all you have to do is just send somebody a message on the server. Somebody on the server will run you through a game. You can do that. It doesn't take courage. Just take the plunge. Just take the plunge. So.
Yep, Ancient Albatross, that's me. I'm on the Discord. I'm more than open to talking about, Cypher System, or you could just join the Discord, and if you don't feel super comfortable just having a direct conversation with someone, on the server, everyone is super duper friendly. Everyone loves helping newcomers. As soon as a newcomer comes in, people are like, "Oh, what's your experience with RPGs? Like, how can we help you?" Like, it's a very, very loving community. Like, I know it's kind of biased because I help run it, but like this is like the most again.
It's the coolest. It's the coolest freaking group of gamers I've ever encountered online in my existence, and I've been doing this for like 50 years almost. Okay, and like Al was saying, he's Ancient Albatross. I'm Alphadean on the server, and I can put it to you guys straight up. I literally had 2 tables at PaxU of people who had never played Cypher System. And 1 table never played Cypher System, and 3 of the people had never even played an RPG. They walked away from the table and went right to the MCG table, bought Cypher books, and joined our server right then and there. So that's what we do. We love introducing new people. It's awesome.
And I just want to read this from Ketup because it's a very nice compliment, and it is true. Like, again, I hate to say it because I must sound biased as fuck, but Ketup says this isn't just a subjective thing. I think I can say objectively it's the most cohesive TTRPG community that I know of, and I've been around. It is definitely, like, again, as far as just online communities go as a whole, probably the least toxic, most accepting. Like, and again, people have arguments. That's not something that doesn't happen. But they settle their arguments like adults and people who have an understanding that there are differences of opinions, and no one's gonna jump down your throat for having a different opinion. Like, and again, you don't see that a whole lot in a lot of online communities. If you have one differing opinion, they will jump down your throat in most cases.
I laugh, and I'll use this as an example, and I think it's funny, but it's so appropriate. Remember the time we had the guy come on here trying to troll us about Cypher System, and everybody was just nice to the guy. They were so nice to him. Every negative that he said, somebody had a positive spin. Look at it this way, try it that way. The guy got so mad that he just was like, fuck you, and left the server. We didn't even have to kick him off. He just couldn't take it because he couldn't get a rise out of people. We're not going to engage in that kind of banter. It's unnecessary. We're not going to have addition wars. We said it, but the community has embraced it. And I think that's really one of the strongest aspects of the Cypher Unlimited community.
Yep. And what do you call it? Jason responded to your story. Yeah, but I just changed my name and came back. No, but what Kedub said is, again, pretty much hits the nail on the head. It's partly due to the nature of Cypher. Since it's so modular, there's no right way to play the system. So everyone is much more open-minded. I honestly never really thought of it in that light. And yeah, like there's like this is something we enjoy a lot about Cypher System, is a lot of like GM's interpretation, or like you can add to it or take away from it, and it doesn't break anything. And a lot of systems you can't say that about. Like a lot of systems you pretty much have to use the entirety of the system the way it's written for it to work properly. But Cypher System, not so much, and that's awesome. And again, what Kedub said is kind of
right.
indication.
And the fact that it's plug and play, because we use this for superheroes, but we use this for horror, but we use this for cyberpunk, but and you don't have to use any of them, or you can use all of them. And like you said, no right and wrong way. It just makes life good, as a game master and as a player, and that's what I'm saying. So I'm down for it,
So yes, I don't know how to pronounce your full username there. The Insane.
Zach writes the Insane.
Zach writes the Insane, but yeah, definitely stop by the Discord. Engage with people. We can hook you up with free resources. There's a ton of free ways to learn how to play. You don't even have to buy anything. But once you do get your teeth into it, it doesn't hurt to buy stuff, because the books are fucking awesome. I will say that art is amazing, the layout's so good, but to learn how to play, you don't need to buy anything. There are tons of free ways to learn how to play.
And I don't know what you're talking about, Wes. He said, I used a player intrusion to derail one of those hooks, and it was amazing. I don't know, Wes.
Oh, no, he just said, Cypher System so modular, if you scroll up a little bit, he ran a 3 hour streams using nothing but roll tables for adventure hooks, and it just worked.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Listen, just to give you guys perspective, I got tapped to run the Magnus Archives, the Resurrection Mount. I did not get to finish reading the adventure, but when I got to the table, I set the expectation, and I told everybody at the table, listen, I only read the beginning of the adventure. I don't know how it's supposed to unfold, but because I listened to the Magnus Archives, and I've been doing this for a little while, I'm quite sure I can give you a Magnus Archives experience. I literally had a guy come back, he had joined the server. He's like, dude, I just read it. He's like, and your interpretation was like almost verbatim what the book had, and you mean you didn't finish it? But it's the nature of Cypher, and it's the nature of embracing the storytelling aspect, because like everybody is telling you, no right, no wrong, and just, and as long as you get once you learn that you can bring the evocative nature of whatever you're doing, boom, it's right there in your hands. So
yes, so nothing but good things to say about Cypher System, but that's we could be here all night talking about how good Cypher System is. And you just need a napkin.
Yes, that's all he needs.
A napkin and a piece of paper. Oh, excuse me, a napkin and something to write with.
Yes.
That's all you need.
That's all you need.
But yeah, this has been an excellent talk. Thank you guys so much for coming on and listening to us rattle on about PaxU, or I guess listening to Dean's recounting of PaxU. And I definitely have been enticed to go. So if you see me at a con next year, it'll most likely be PaxU. If I can go to 2, PaxU and Gamehole. But yeah, definitely. Thank you all. Any final words before I do my little closing out spiel here? I'm taking over for Anthony.
Oh, you're gonna take it over? Okay.
Yeah, I'll do it. Yeah.
You knock it out. Actually, guys, everybody, thanks for coming on tonight. It was actually great. It feels good to be back. Can't wait to talk to everybody on Thursday. I don't know what we're talking about yet, but hey, we're gonna make it do what it do.
I will say that on Thursday, I believe we are talking to Malfectious, a community member of the Cypher Unlimited, about his current or new supplement for crafting within the Cypher system.
Oh, right. I think that is right.
I'm pretty sure Anthony is more the schedule keeper than me, but I'm 99% sure that's what he said when we talked about upcoming streams. So keep an eye out for that on Thursday. And I will say this, just because we were testing something, the dual stream went perfect. The connection didn't drop. We had a few drop frames in the beginning, but I think that's when I was trying to send out links to places. But once I closed everything down, connection has been steady and good. So look forward to more multi-streaming from the Cypher Unlimited crew. I'm even going to try triple streaming on my own time, get it on YouTube as well, and see if my connection can handle it. And if so, we will be on all 3 platforms at the same time going forward. But we shall see how that goes. But yeah, thank you everyone for stopping by who are on Twitch. Thank you, Luis and Jason. You are all over on Moonbeam as well. Thank you guys so much for being on the Moonbeam side. It seems like everything went well on both sides. Very grateful for that. Fingers crossed it continues this way in the future. But yeah, just to close us out here, if you like us, you like what we do, join the Cypher Unlimited Discord. It's the biggest fan-run community Discord for all things Cypher system, and you can come and learn to play for free and come talk to us. We are a great, loving community that loves to help newcomers. If Discord is not for you, we do have a Facebook group as well. Not as big as our Discord group, but still a lot of conversation happening there as well. You can always support us by giving us a little donation on Ko-fi, but our videos will always be free. But again, if you want to give us that little bit of help, there's Ko-fi, and you can also buy some stuff at our merch store, like a shirt Dean has on there, and Anthony, if he was here, would show off his hat that he usually wears. But yeah, definitely a lot of nice stuff there as well. I feel like I'm missing a link, but that should be everything. Oh, YouTube. Don't forget to subscribe to us over on YouTube. We're also trying to grow that platform as well. As you can tell, I'm not usually the one who does the signing off here, but now I think that's everything. Oh, then there we go. There's a Cypher Unlimited hat. CypherCon specifically. Those CypherCon 1.0 designs are still available for those who are interested in having a CypherCon shirt, but we are definitely going to be taking those off at the end of the year, I believe, or maybe we'll give it into January, get ready for the next CypherCon 2.0. But either way, and what Anthony says here, last but not least, we love you guys. That's what he says, and he passes it to me. Or I say thank you guys, everyone, for stopping by. This has been a blast. Really enjoying being on camera again. Funny enough, I've been off camera lately, but it's been nice being on camera and talking again. You might see more of me in the future, but who knows? But as usual, thank you again, and from us at the CU.
See you later. I was gonna do it with.
No, wait. Let's do that again. Let's sing it up. All right. Wait. And from us at the CU, we will see you later.